Macedonia in English. Just about everything you want to know.
Labor and Social Policy Committee Chair on Defenders Law debate. The chair of the Labor and Social Policy Committee, Tsvetanka Ivanova, said she no longer intends to be in charge of the session where the Defenders Law, proposed by VMRO-DPMNE, as well as DUI's amendments to the proposal, are debated. As chair of the Labor and Social Policy Committee, I will send a letter to Parliament Speaker Trajko Veljanovski informing him that I no longer intend to be in charge of the session where the Defenders Law is being debated. As of now, the Parliament Speaker has the obligation regarding the committee's work, as well as the obligation to provide conditions for smooth adoption of the Defenders Law, she said. Ivanova expects Veljanovski and the VMRO-DPMNE MPs to show they equally support the Defenders Law and other laws related to the social policy. The SDSM member stressed that she will continue to serve as chair, but clarified that she will not be in charge of the committee where DUI's amendments to the Defenders Law are on the agenda. Restoration of the painted mosque's facade completed. A ceremony was organized on Monday to highlight the successful completion of the Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation grant at the Painted Mosque in Tetovo. The grant, which was signed in 2011, allowed the preservation and restoration of the exterior facade of the mosque. Culture Minister Elizabeta Kanchevska-Mileska said that the facade was restored by using modern techniques and materials for conservation. According to U.S. Ambassador Paul Wallers, the people of Macedonia and visitors from around the world can now appreciate the superb artwork as well as the rich cultural heritage that inspired the creation of this beautiful mosque, regardless of their religion or ethnic background. Through our excellent collaboration with the Ministry of Culture and the people of Macedonia, the U.S. Embassy in Skopje has awarded more of these grants than any other U.S. mission in Europe. Since 2001, we have been delighted to support 11 Ambassadors Fund projects in this country, totaling well over $1 million. The grant for this project of over $94,000 was one of the largest awarded to a project in Europe, he said. Vice Prime Minister on Macedonia's chances of getting EU talks date. I have a reserved optimism that the EU will manage to find a good, a fair and creative formulation that will enable us to resume the process which has already started so that we get ready to begin negotiations, Vice Prime Minister for European Affairs Teuta Arifi said on the eve of the meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, where a decision will be made whether and when Macedonia will start EU talks. The Vice Prime Minister, who declined to comment on the way in which the EU announces the decision, believes that the Union will definitely find a way to give a formulation to keep Macedonia active so that the country continues the current course. Regardless of the formulation we receive, our orientation with respect to EU integrations will not change. We will respond by absolutely increasing the activities. That is the response befitting us as a country and state, she pointed out. Doctors on plans for talks with Prime Minister Gruevski. The Independent Trade Union of the Clinical Center has voiced its satisfaction with the fact that Prime Minister Nikola Gruevski will hold talks with doctors staging the strike over the merit pay system. The doctors, who will initially inform Gruevski about the system's anomalies, hope a common solution will be found valuing the scope and quality of work. We want to explain this system's flaws to him. I think we'll find a solution, Dejan Stavric of the trade union highlighted. Several doctors have been striking for a month, demanding higher salaries, respect for the doctor's profession and cancellation of the project. Newly elected court presidents claim judges are under no political influence. The newly elected presidents of the Basic Court Skopje I and the Supreme Court, as well as Justice Minister Blerim Beđeti, claim that judges are under no political influence. Supreme Court President Lidia Nedelkova said she considers her inauguration to be an obligation to start animating her program and the most important competence of the court, approximating court practice, i.e., single application of laws by the Macedonian courts. This will enable equal treatment for the citizens before the courts as well as access to justice, and it will thus increase trust in the judiciary, she pointed out. New Criminal Court President Vladimir Panchevsky warned the media that the false media reports and speculations not in line with the actual situations will not be allowed. There is no political influence on the judges. Those are likely some speculations. I don't even know who makes them. Everything will be in accordance with the law, he stressed. International Regional Institute poll. Ruling VMRO-DPMNE still has the highest rating among Macedonian political parties, according to International Republican Institute poll. The poll shows that VMRO-DPMNE has the highest rating, with 27% ahead of SDSM, which has a 13% support. DUI has 11% support, and DPA 4% support. Asked to grade political parties on the scale from 1 to 5, VMRO-DPMNE received an average grade of 2.56, SDSM 1.97, while DUI 1.75. Prime Minister and VMRO-DPMNE leader Nikola Gruevski has the highest rating among politicians when 20% of respondents votes. Ali Ahmeti is right behind him with 8% support, then Strumica Mayor Zoran Zaev with 5% support, opposition leader Branko Crvenkovski with less than 5% support, President Georgi Ivanov, who is supported by 4%, and the list is completed with Menduh Taci with 2% support. When asked whether Macedonia is closer to the EU at this point than 4 years ago, 58% of the respondents said yes, 23% said no, while 19% are not sure.
Macedonia in English. Just about everything you want to know.